I'm just now coming from over listening to Rob Smart. He's got a new video up. And, he's going about the Pentagon releasing footage and information about UPAs, or UFOs, or whatever you want to call them, and the existence and relevance of aliens. One of the things he says in there is that it could be, you have to keep an open mind, that it could be something that the government is like a hoax or staging something. You never know. That's what he's trying to say. And that very well, that's good advice. Keep an open mind and question everything. In my case, I have a lot of different things, a lot of different sources that I'm strewing together to come up with a cohesive result for this subject of aliens. I was going on about this, I was getting information about this before the government started coming out and making it popular. 2017, I came across a Lightworkers Handbook, and it was intimated, and it was mentioned in there that there were extraterrestrials involved with the government, and the government, the United States government, does actually have a contract with them. So he was going on in the video, Rob Smart was going on in the video as well, about whether or not the government's actually made contact with these beings, as opposed to just seeing objects in the skies and whatnot. So, this is before the government, it became popularized for the government to be talking about it. Before 2023, it really wasn't that much of something that they do. 2023, they came out with some whistleblower, I think it's David Gersh, I think it was, some military man, that's just blew it all up and just said, yeah, that's what's going on, and so on and so forth. And then you have the Stephen Greer, I believe his name is, says it's been going on for about 80 years now, and that they got involved during the aliens got involved in the United States of America during the World War II, after the bombing of Hiroshima. They came out and made a formal appearance, and they all got involved with one another. I guess what I'm trying to say is that now all of a sudden, I blew over here in Orlando, Florida, which is where I'm at right now. I know you probably get tired of looking at the ground all the damn time, but yeah, I blew out here in Orlando, Florida, and back in 2019, after 2017, coming across the information of Lightworkers Handbook. And I was talking to the police officers here, having had the government follow me. That's a long story about the government. I mentioned that in other videos. Having followed me over here from different states that I was jumping from one to the other in cities. And I was talking to police officers here, and I was telling them about the light workers and relevance of the light workers, and that then they weren't making as much noise either during that time as they are making now. They've caught on some more speed, you know. And I told them about the light workers, and I mentioned the aliens. By the time I mentioned aliens and the relevance of aliens, they start rolling their eyes. There's light workers. They're kind of looking at it and say, okay, we see something out there about that. It seems to be something that's tangible. But now you've got your government coming out since 2023 on the television set telling you about it. And more they're telling you about it. They got a movie coming out called Disclosure. I actually recommended that they make a movie about that shit, you know, to them as I was talking to them, and, you know, and make it have it go worldwide, and have worldwide premiere, and, you know, it's money. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but they're doing it just the same either way, and it's be coming out soon. I guess what I'm trying to say, if you take all the different for me, taking all the different sources, and there's more sources than that I've got, and I put them all together and strew them all together, I come up with, it's not just the government effing with you or pulling your chain. I'm not now, the GFL station, I don't know if they're still doing their thing. I have to go and check on them and see if they're still doing their thing. And at some point, it seems like they're trying to go down, but they're going down over some issues over YouTube, getting off the air or getting off the platform. But they have other channels like that up there, like the GFL station. But they were talking about to be wary of whether or not your government is going to stage something to be as if they're UFOs or extraterrestrials, or as opposed to the real thing. And they also said they will be making contact, arriving in about 2025, 2026. About 2025 rolled around. I forget exact month, but it was a little while ago. They they came out and said, okay, Three-Eye Atlas, the comet that they've been making reference to out there, astronomer Ivy Loeb has been making reference to and saying it's not your typical comet, but they were still referred to as a comet, saying, but by all things going on with it, all its aspects, it doesn't seem to be a comet. This comet is a very different comet, for indeed. So they said that wasn't a comet, that was them on the GFL station, and it was 2025. But in 2024, they said that they will be making contact to some degree or another in 2025 or 2026. And here it is, 2026, and I have to check up on this comet and see what's going on with it, because there's a lot of things out there to keep up with, I guess, and I really haven't been keeping up with that lately. So, I don't know, I'll stew it all together, and there's other resources as well. I don't really want to get into it, but I've got dealings with them personally. Like I said, I don't want to get into it right now. I think that kind of like discredit what I'm doing right now if I were to go into all these other little details. But there's certain things going on, and you connect those dots. And for me, I just come up with it's just what's going on. It's not a hoax from the government. They're not pulling your chain. If they are, it's because they got some reason they're doing so. But just because someone's pulling your chain about the relevance of something or another doesn't mean that it's not relevant. It's not. Someone can say, well, I'm this, I'm that, but it doesn't discredit the fact that the Lord still exists. Someone can come in the name of the Lord and say, hey, I'm the Lord, or something can come in the name of the Lord and says, I'm the Lord, but you do still believe in source energy. Just the same if it turns out that was a hoax and it wasn't the one. It wasn't the original, the real McCoy. You know what I mean? Shit like that. It's just complicated, but yeah, question everything. Question what I'm telling you. Hell, I've questioned it. I questioned it over and over again. I'm highly intelligent. What I come up with is that it's what's going on, In the Lightworkers Handbook in 2017, when I came across it, it was already out prior to 2017, but I came across it in 2017. And it says, a lot of things. It says a few things about the existence of the Pleiadians, realms of Pleiadians. It says that the Lightworkers are here to set down a groundwork for them to come and have work to do when they get here. And so now here they are in 2025 doing whatever they're doing out there in the solar system. And who knows what they're going to proceed to do further as we go further along. So I don't know, there really isn't much more to say about that. It's either you believe or you don't believe. You have the capacity to put these things together, the faculty to put these things together, from what Ralph Smart is saying, from what all the other sources are saying, and or you don't. Or you just don't want to make it happen for whatever reason that is. And that's understandable as well. But for those who may have wanted to hear about that, and once again, because I'm reiterating it, there it is. I guess a little bit more, is necessary, probably in order. The reason I believe in these things, the sources that I believe in anyhow, is because I have communications from them in some new ways that lets me know that they actually know who I am. Like Kryon always says in his Kryon books, he says, I know who you are, Lightworker. I know everyone who's in the chairs. And he used to say it all the time anyhow. I know everything about you, Lightworker. And I'm like, yeah. You keep showing me that. You know what I mean? That you personally know me in ways that I can't even dispute or just question. I can't question. It's like, wow, that's just like dead on, spot on. Like, how did you know so much? How did you know that without knowing it? Like, you're speaking to me right now, All the things that are relevant to me is, you're doing everything short of saying my name. In other words, yeah? So, I don't know. I guess if I become well known, he might say my name. You know what I mean? Like he says the name of a lot of notables, But I guess that's the difference. Anyhow, having said that, I guess there's really not that much more to add to it. You can chalk me up as another one of those crazies out there, along with Stephen Greer and David Gersh, and the vast majority of the United States government, Donald Trump. And they're all nuts, I guess. Because they're going on about the relevance and pertinence and so on and so forth with aliens.